Welcome to the BNB Investing Podcast for real estate investors. Fix and flippers and realtors exploring investment options with Airbnbs and short-term rentals through acquisition, leasing, or management to generate consistent monthly revenue. Join us for a chat with experienced and successful short-term rental investors to hear their story of how they got started and created wealth by building scalable businesses. We also explore various service providers and lenders that help make our businesses more efficient and maximize revenue in this awesome sharing economy. Welcome your host, Rich Monroe.
Hey there, it's Rich Monroe with B&B Investing Group. Thanks everybody for jumping on this week. As you guys know, B&B Investing helps short-term rental investors navigate the different models, whether you're doing acquisitions, master lease strategy, or managing other properties. One of the most important things that we try to talk about is kind of looking at some of the integration technology and some of the tools that help us, scale our business. And so we have a good friend of mine, Stephen and Ray, on from Property Inspect, and we're going to kind of dig into how their platform can help us with our property inspections and make sure that we're staying on top of maintenance and as well as cleaning. And so Ray, Stephen, thanks so much for jumping on today. Stephen, if you want to kind of jump in and give us a brief introduction.
Sure, absolutely. So just to give you guys a summary, so Property Inspect is a web and app-based platform that helps to streamline inspections. Essentially, any property manager, cleaning team that you have specifically for what you guys do, you can set up different checklists and create a template for them to walk through the properties to ensure that you focus on quality assurance in terms of your guest experience. So that's primarily what we help with. It can be completely customizable. We currently have Airbnb as a primary customer for some years now, and they do over 20,000 inspections with us here, Rich. And we have about 700 inspectors on the platform, and it's worldwide. But as a company as a whole, we're in about 40 countries assisting with just overall efficiency with inspections.
Okay, that's amazing. So you guys are actually doing this for the Airbnb platform directly and doing inspections for those guys. And so how long has that been that you guys have been doing it with Airbnb?
So that's been about what has it been, Ray? About
almost 5 years now.
Yeah, 5 years now.
5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then in general, your other side of the business is doing inspections. It just doesn't matter what type of, could be short-term, long-term, mid-term, anything to do with properties, basically, right?
Correct. Any manager of any property or anyone that does consistent site visits. So it could be everything from move in, move out inspections. If you do long-term rentals, it could be, like vacation rentals, like what we talk about here. But it can also be, different types of property, office buildings, commercial properties, warehouses. Essentially what we focus on is just compliance and making sure that the properties are occupiable, meeting certain building codes. And obviously with Airbnb, with all the different standards being rolled out in different areas, you want to be very tight and ties your systems to make sure like you're in compliance and you don't have issues or fines or anything like that. So, it's just really a matter of using us as an operational platform for efficiency.
Yeah, and as everyone knows, the importance, obviously, with this is a hospitality business, and so to be on your P's and Q's with keeping up with your maintenance and making sure your properties are in tip-top shape is kind of the top priority. And I know for me, at its peak, having 75 properties, utilizing a tool that helps with the inspection process and kind of keeps track of everything that you need to do on each of those properties is huge. And running a short-term rental business, you need to be able to scale and handle a lot of properties at the same time. And I think, your product definitely kind of helps with that process to make it a lot more efficient and keeps everything in one place so that nothing gets missed. Because all it takes is, something to go bad and not get addressed. And then all of a sudden you've got a bad review which has a direct impact on your revenue. And so this is a critical part of the business that, I think is definitely very important.
Absolutely. And just to, work from what you just mentioned, when it comes to maintenance, with the reports, what's really great is we have our main reports that Ray will be showing us here very soon, giving a high level overview. And from that main report, we're able to create an action report. So I know we've talked to you, Rich, about certain things you do as far as operationally. And what it really does is it allows you to create sub reports where you can assign it to your team, and you won't ever lose sight of where you are with each unit. Especially like yourself, you have 75 units. Imagine if you were managing that via email or just text messaging or some type of application where you don't have on a per unit basis. It's not impossible to track, but obviously it's difficult to really be efficient and grow your business and growing the amount of units whenever you have the challenges while bringing on new units and managing the current guest experience on the current units. So we're able to help with work order management too through some integrations that we allow.
Yeah, and I've found out the hard way with asset management and property management. If you're not proactive and staying on top of this stuff, it can move sideways very quickly. And so simple things like making sure all your AC filters are switched out, changing the batteries in the remote, little simple things like that, making sure the drains are unclogged, because with short-term rentals, the first thing that's going to happen is your drains are going to clog up. It's nothing worse than checking into an Airbnb and taking a shower and your ankles are getting filled with the last person that stayed at the property's water, right? So little things like that is really what makes a difference between a professional short-term rental manager and somebody that's just doing it as a hobby. And so, I having firsthand experience with being proactive with maintenance and making sure that the teams go in there, sometimes on a monthly or quarterly basis at least, having a tool like this to kind of help manage that process is huge.
Yeah.
So I see a few folks jumping on. If you wouldn't mind throwing a quick yes in the comments, make sure you can hear us okay. And we are going to do a demo today on the Property Inspect platform. So if there's any questions, feel free to throw that out in the comments below as well, and I'll save some time towards the end for us to get to those. So, Ray, did you want to kind of jump in to kind of show us what's going on with it, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just kind of give a little introduction to myself first. Kind of tell everybody a little bit about myself and what I do. First, hey, thanks for the opportunity to give us the opportunity to meet with this cool group of entrepreneurs you're working with. I've got a background in this myself. I've been an Airbnb host in the past for years. I currently run the Airbnb program here at Property Inspect. I've been doing that for over 5 years. I worked in San Diego. I lived in San Diego for a while. I worked for a company called AvantStay, and they're a large short-term rental company. And my job function with them was to onboard new properties. And that was, I think during my time with them, I onboarded almost 20 properties in the San Diego area. And that was literally furnishing services, everything about getting a property from rental. Their business model was to rent from an owner and then short-term rent from there. So they manage the whole process. So I've got some pretty good insights into the day-to-day operations of a short-term rental manager. And I specifically, I know how difficult it is. And you touched on it a few minutes ago, and that's you get so busy and there's so many moving parts to all of these properties that if you don't have the proper systems in place, it's just like you said, it can go sideways, and it can go sideways quick. And the worst thing about it going sideways is when it does go sideways, then you're just reacting to things. So you, as a manager, you're going from property to property to property, and you'll find yourself in a cycle of reacting and reacting and reacting when your guests are telling you things. So when you put the systems in place and you're seeing and the people are tracking these things for you and helping them track for you, you really kind of can grab a hold of the business and watch it grow and grow it.
Yeah, most definitely. So before we dig into the platform, I'd love to hear a little bit more about the relationship with Airbnb and kind of how you guys help with their process.
Yeah, sure. So specifically, we work with the Airbnb Luxury Retreats team. As Stephen mentioned, we do 20,000. They do 20,000 inspections a year on our platform. Their business model, I think, is really, really unique, and I'm kind of surprised that a lot of people don't do it this way. But what they do is they hire a lot of basically 1099s here in the U.S. They're 1099s. Around the world, they would just be contracted employees, and they train them up on our software, and then they activate them as needed. They have a variety of different inspections that they do. I mean, when I say variety, they've got in their account right now, I've got a screenshot of their templates I can show you later, but they probably have 20 different inspection types that they currently do. Obviously, onboarding is a big one. An onboarding inspection for them is extremely detailed. They go through the entire property, highlight some of the more valuable items that are in the property as well, and really build that relationship with the owner of the property to make sure that it's really reciprocal in the fact that they want to provide a high-end service, they want to have a high-end property, and they want to make sure that their high-end guests are receiving the service that they're paying for, which is high-end. So what they do is, and then they have other inspections like check-in, check-out inspections. Those happen. Some of them are depending on the properties. Some will be on every single event. Every time there's a check-in and check-out, there's an inspection done. Others might be every couple of weeks, somewhere along there. They have drive-by inspections where they have people, they literally pay somebody $20 or $25. They go by the property and they take pictures of the outside, the landscape, the landscaping, the outside of the property, check for construction issues, check for neighborhood issues, that sort of thing. Which I always thought that was pretty unique. And then they have the check-in, check-outs as well.
Very cool, very cool. So yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, we've been managing properties in the Tampa, Florida market. I'm based in Atlanta, and it's a 7.5-hour drive, and I never have to go down there because we have local folks that are doing these inspections for us. And really, that's kind of the nugget here. If you're trying to manage properties remotely, is to really have a robust inspection system in place so that you don't have to physically go walk the properties. You've got a platform like yours that you can kind of utilize to kind of manage that process. So definitely makes sense for sure.
Yeah, we have a product I'm not going to demo today, but I'll just tell you a little bit about it. We call it Live Inspections. It works a little bit like a FaceTime. So you would assign an inspection to a remote. Somebody could be next door, could be 5,000 miles away, and you access their phone. So they'll be on property. They get a code. They enter that code. You access their phone. They walk the property for you, and you can create the report from right here from my desk. I can say, okay, go into bedroom 1, go into bedroom 2, go into bedroom 3. Take a photo of this. Take a photo of that. Are you seeing anything? Okay, take a photo of that for me, and I can generate a report that way, along with, as Stephen mentioned, along with an action report. So if I've got issues that I'm finding during the inspections, both the process I'm going to show you today or the live process, you can create separate action reports and send those to a variety of different vendors. You can send it, whether it's your landscaping, your maintenance, or your housekeeping vendors, or the property owner, if you wanted. All of the above, one report, or all separate reports if you want.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, awesome. Let's jump into it.
Nice. Okay, great. All right, so we are kind of, like I said, we're going to go high level here. This will probably take about 10 minutes or so. And as Rich mentioned, if you've got questions, as I'm going, drop those questions into the chat so we can address them right after right after I'm done showing you the system. So we're Property Inspect. We're both a web and app-based system. I'm going to show you both features today. The system works with both iOS and Android, and that would be phones and or tablets or iPads. So what you're looking at here is the main dashboard. This is the web-based version where you would manage your inspection program from. This is my demo site, so I kind of have a lot going on here, but yours might just be check-in inspection, onboarding inspection, everything you see, and pretty much everything you see today that I show you is customizable. I mean, this page can say and look however you want it to look, depending on what verbiage you're using, what you're calling your inspections, what you want to be in and on your inspection reports, or what I would call your deliverables. All right. So the system comes with two databases. We've got a properties database. So this is where all your properties would be located. And then you've got an inspections database. So this is where all your completed inspections would be. It's going to go along the top here and just kind of tell you what you're looking at here. Team, these would be the users that you would build into the system. Those could be admin.
Ray, real quick, if I could, is there a way to zoom in just for the section that you're looking at?
Let me see.
So it makes it a little bit bigger.
Let's see. I know that there is a way.
You might, if you're on Chrome, go to the upper right-hand corner, the three little dots, and maybe zoom in from there.
Got it. Thank you. There we go. Awesome. How's that?
Better. Yeah, perfect.
Let me go one more.
There you go. There we go.
All right, nice. Now we're cooking. All right, so you've got the two databases here, properties and inspections. You've got your team here. You have the ability when you build team members in to build them in at different levels of accessibility, meaning what certain inspectors see or certain people that are built in as team members see when they log on to the onto the platform would be very different than potentially other users on the platform. Like for instance, Rich said he's got properties in Tampa. He may not want his Tampa team to see what his Atlanta team's doing and how they're interacting with the platform. So you have the ability to set the inspector up so they're only seeing one market and also potentially build teams within that. So if Rich has got a Tampa market, he's got an Atlanta market, he's got a Charleston market, all three of those can be, he can be managing all three of those markets from within the system. But the folks that are doing the actual work on the ground, they're only seeing what's happening in their market. All right, clients. So clients work like this. Clients would actually be, if you're managing, let's say, a portfolio of properties or even just one property for a homeowner or a group of homeowners or a REIT or something like that, you can build them in as a client. And it kind of works along the same line that I just mentioned about access of team members. So when you build a client in, and I think the best way to show you is to show you like in real time. When you build a property into the system, which is what we've done here, I've gone to the properties database. I've got Diamond typed in. As you start to type in information, it's going to narrow down whether that's address, zip code, name of property, reference number that you have, all of that. As you start to type that information in, it's going to find the property for you. We go into the property itself. I'm going to come back out here and tell you a little bit about audit trails in a second. But when you go into the property itself, you build the property into the system. If you've got a large portfolio, we can do a bulk upload for you as well, so you don't have to actually build these properties in one-off. But building the properties is real. The property profile, I'll call it, is really easy. So you go in. This is all the information you actually have to put in here. But then you could add a client to the system. So now the client's going to have the ability to access your dashboard here, but only see their property, only see the inspections associated with that property. And as a note, only see those inspections when you're ready for them to see those inspections, meaning you've pushed them internally through a workflow to make sure that that report is ready for, say, prime time. So other people outside your company or your team would be able to view that property from there. Like I said, you can keep this property profile as simple as you want, or you can get really granular on it here, and make it really easy for when anybody jumps into the property. So I'll go back to the actual property, your profile. So this is it right here. So now when I log on to the properties database, I pull up this property, all this information is readily at hand right here. And this information will also show up in the app. So if you've got gate codes or security codes that need to be updated or changed for the inspector, all of that can be put right here, and they'll see it in the app as well. Next thing you're looking at here is, so when you build a property into the system, from that moment forward, everything that happens with this property creates small little audits. It could be as simple as, Ray Housekeeper started an inspection. Ray Housekeeper submitted an inspection checklist report. But if you're sharing reports as well with, say, your owners, with the owners of the property or the management companies you're managing the properties for, if they get a link to that report, when they click on that link, that also becomes an audit on the property. And I really, really like that feature because it just kind of puts that accountability piece in. So if you've informed somebody about an issue or shared information about a property in the report with them, that's really important. And they click on it, if it's a month later, 2 months later, and that issue comes up again, or that issue wasn't addressed correctly, they may come back to you and say, I didn't know that. You never told me that. I don't know what you're talking about. You would have the ability to know at that point when they looked at it, and that they did actually open the email. They actually read the report. All right. So I'm going to go, let's go ahead and talk templates real quick. Templates are the inspection reports themselves. So I've got a couple in here. Like this is the actual Airbnb onboarding template for this year. I'm just going to kind of go through it just to give you an idea of what they do, and then kind of start to show you some information around the templates themselves and how customizable they actually are. So this is just one. As I mentioned, I would say they've got 15 or even 20 in their account. But what I did today was I built out, Rich provided me with a copy of one of his checklists. So we went ahead and built that out for this meeting here. I'm going to go in and kind of show you a little bit around that. So, I can go like this, actually. Let me just kind of, for context, show you this. So, let me go like this. Really quickly here. All right, for context, this is a great checklist, by the way, Rich. Really impressed by this. So we went in here and
so just so you know, Ray, I had nothing to do with it. My wife manages our cleaning operation, and so she's the brains behind the checklist. So I'll give her credit, not me.
Yeah, please pass my admiration across, all right? Because
I look at these. That.
This doesn't sound exciting, but I look at these every day, so I see a lot of different versions. So this is really well put together. I really like it. So what we did was this is the reason I'm bringing it up is so I could show you how I took this information and I transferred it over to our checklist, which should be completed in the app, or it could actually be done on the web-based dashboard as well, or a combination of both. So he had we call this a block right here. So you go into the app. I'm going to show you this in real time in a minute, but you go into the app, put your finger on the block, it expands the sub block. And then these are the questions that your inspection team or whoever's doing the documentation on property will answer. Everything here is customizable. We can change the answer format if we wanted. We could change the colors of the check boxes here. We can put custom dictionaries into these comment boxes right here. And then when you're in the app itself, you've got a camera icon right here. That's going to allow you to insert an image and or a video directly into these sections right here. And then there's what looks to be like a yield sign or a pyramid. And then that'll allow you to add actions into the system itself. So an action would be a problem or a deficiency you found. I think I talked about that briefly before, and you can either send those out, to your maintenance team or your housekeeping team or your landscaping team, all in one report, or you can separate them out and send one section to your landscaping team, one section to your housekeeping team, and one section to your maintenance team and or the owner of the property. So actions are really great, and they're truly actionable, meaning that you can go back in and click a button saying this has been completed, which also becomes an audit on the property, saying it would say if I went in and I clicked this task has now been completed, it will audit trail on the property saying Ray said this task was completed on May 24th at 5:25 p.m.
Nice.
All right, just a little bit about functionality here within the template itself. I'll just kind of scan down to kind of show you what I did. I want to show you one piece of this as well. Okay, so within the template, within like the kitchen checklist that Rich had, he had sub lists within that. So he had the kitchen checklist here. Like here's another part of the sub list. He had the kitchen checklist, and then we got into some sub lists. So what we're doing here is when we get into a sub list, we can click on this. I clicked. I added a section called 1.11 here. That's the header section, and then 1.11.1, 1.11.2, and these are sections that are specifically targeted toward the kitchen closet part. So just a lot of opportunities. If put it this way, if you can think of it, if there's any sort of information or data that you want to collect about the properties, you can create a checklist that does that. Really feasibly, you could create easily create an inspection checklist for every property individually. You could call this your foundational template and then go in and rename it for a different house, adding or taking away a couple of sections, et cetera, et cetera. You just literally copy sections, copy templates themselves, really easy. I'm just going to show you one quick thing, and then I'm going to go on and show you what it looks like in the app. I'm going to show you how easy it is to actually configure. I'm not going to do it here though, because I'm going to go down to another section here. Bedroom. All right. So how easy it is to configure a section. We also have things, and this could be helpful. Let me talk about this first. This could be helpful if you're working remotely, and there are certain things that are crucial that if they were to say not complete or unable to complete, they would have to complete a task. We call that conditional logic, meaning you assign a rule to one of these buttons, meaning if I click unable to complete, I have to take a picture, or I have to add comments in and explain why I was unable to do that. But I'm going to configure this section just to show you how easy it is to, you have all of these options right here as the different areas that you can add into the inspection reports itself. I created a custom option set. That was what you were just looking at. But if I wanted to change a section to like make the answers a little bit different, I can just change them like that. I can also add sections in really easily. So I can go in and say, I want to add a section in. I want to add in a star rating. I want to call that 5 stars. I just want to call it overall condition of property, and then say 5 stars is best right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and just add a section to this right now. A little star rating section that somebody would have to ask and have to click on that button while they're in the app. All right. So that's template. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what this template looks like now in the app itself, or from the point of view of somebody that's on property actually doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and assign an inspection to myself. So what I did was I went to properties, went to the property itself. I'm going to go to my short-term rental inspection type, and then I have a lot of templates in here, but you probably wouldn't have as many. But I'm going to look for this right there. I'm going to look for that template. That's a template I was just working on. I'm going to pick the conduct date. While I'm doing this, also just a note, if you've got a Guesty, we just completed an integration with Guesty. So that means that we should be able to automate what we're doing right now. Automate the assigning of inspections based on the checkout that's happening in Guesty. All right. You'll also notice here I put in Rich as a contact. This is an optional feature. You can have as many contacts in as you want. You can name those contacts whatever you want. But essentially, what I've done here is, all right. So we're going to call Rich the owner of the property. I'm going to notify Rich. This means that when the inspection, when I assign this inspection, Rich is going to get a notification saying Ray Inspector is going to this property to do this inspection on this day. And then when I move that inspection to complete, it's automatically going to send a copy of that report to Rich as well. Optional, don't have to do it, but I do like to let people know that you do have the ability to automate the delivery of notifications. All right, so there we go. So
real quick question, Ray, on the integration with Guesty, does that automatically pull in the property information for you, or is that currently, once the integration is up and running, it'll do that?
So you mean like building the property profile?
Yeah.
So what we would do is you would want to export I'm fairly certain that you can export probably a spreadsheet format of your property list.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you would just export that and then import it into our system.
Got it. Okay.
You would only have to do that the one time though. And then when we push information from our site to your site in Guesty, it's done either by reference number or address.
Got it.
Yeah. All right. So I've gone into the app itself. So I'm going to go right here. So that's what our app looks like right there. So I've gone into the app itself. So let's say the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just to show that I was at property today. I was at this property. I'm going to just be out front of the property. I'm going to take a photo. I'm going to say that's going to be on the cover of my report today. And it's going to show you that I started this inspection on basically an hour ago. I started this inspection. I made it active an hour ago. So this is a timestamp. This allows you, if you're managing teams like Rich is from Georgia to Tampa, it's very helpful to know that they got the property and they started this inspection at 4:24 today. So that information is there. There's all the information I was telling you about the property profile. It's right there for me. I've got my client information right there as well, and then I've got my tenant who is Rich. But that I thought I changed that to. I assigned it already before I changed it. Okay. All right. So now I go in. I'm going to go in. I'm going to edit this report. So I go into the checklist as well. Boom. I go in. And now I'm just answering the questions. Completed, non-completed. I have the ability to take photos. So I'm in a room taking photos. Just give a little tour of my home office here. Taking photos there. Okay, so I've taken 4 photos that are associated with this particular section right now. And now they're embedded in the report. There they are right there. These will actually show up as timestamped on the report as well. If they weren't timestamped on your final report, that would actually be a red flag for you that potentially these photos were uploaded from a device. And then I'm not going to spend too much time in the app itself, but you have the ability to obviously add notes. You have the ability to use voice to text. There, have the ability to add audio recordings. So audio recordings are a really neat tool as well. They will not show up in the report, but they'll be associated with the property. So the owner of the property or whoever's managing it. Let's say it's Rich. We could have an audio file embedded with the property. Maybe I want to note something, but I don't necessarily want to insert that in the report, but I don't want to forget it. So that would be a use case for having an audio file in there. Like for instance, noticing potential rodent issue on west corner of house. Maybe that's something I don't want to put into the actual report right now, but I definitely don't want to forget it. All right. So, and then actions. So we go into actions there. We say that needs maintenance. These are all customizable, so they can say or be whatever you'd like, or you can customize them. We'll say it's the homeowners. You could potentially put estimates or costs in if you wanted to associated with that. That's optional. You could turn that feature off as well, and then say all the blinds broken in bedroom 2. Right there. All right. So now we're back out. Last thing I'll show you with the with the app itself is video. Nobody can ever argue with a video. So you could go in and do a quick walk of the property, videotaping, whether that's exterior, interior, and these will in fact embed into the report. All right. So now Ray Inspector, I'm happy with you can see now I'm just toggling in and out of the report, doing the work I need to do. I can preview my work before I'm done, before I sync it, because when I sync it, it's going to leave the app itself. Up there's there's the timestamps associated with the photos there. I know Airbnb actually does do this. They have their folks actually sign their reports, but not something everybody might want to do. And then I'm going to go ahead. So now I'm happy with my report. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sync this back. I'm going to reopen it. I'm going to sync it back to the main database here. Before I do that, I just want to make sure everybody knows that everything is also happening in real time here. So, once again, if Rich is in Georgia and he's got a team in Tampa, you don't need to ask anymore. You don't need to say, hey, you guys get it started? How's it going? Did you finish it? You're going to be able to go in and see how your team is actually interacting with the platform today. So you're going to know where I am and what I'm doing right here. So you go in and say, what's Ray doing today? An hour ago, he did this. 2 hours ago, he did that. 6 minutes ago, he did this. So you don't have to, you get that peace of mind to know that your remote team is actually doing what they're doing if they're using the platform. All right, so now I'm going to sync this report back to the dashboard here. So I'm going to go sync. I'm going to continue. So while that's happening, I'll just point out to everybody that our system also works offline. So if you've downloaded the inspection into the app, as long as you did that while you were on network, this entire inspection can be done offline. So if you go to a remote or rural area and you drop and there's no Wi-Fi, you don't have to worry about that. You can be on the moon and complete this. And then when you're back on network, preferably Wi-Fi, depending on how many images are there, that's when you would sync it back. All right, so I'm just going to full circle it real quick. All right, so now it's left my app. So now I'm going to need to do, if I'm going to do edits right here. So there's my cover photo. That's a photo I took. This report is still active, meaning that I can go in and make edits to it. But maybe the first thing I want to do, since the housekeeping team has just sent me this report, before I do anything else, maybe I just want to go and look at their work. I just want to see how that work came out. Come on. Oh, there we go. All right, so I go into the report itself. Adding logos, super easy. Go in, we look at the report itself. You can see we've got very high quality photos here. We can get in real close, look at these photos. If you want to get in and see those. We can see we've got an action item that needs to be done here. There's our video. So there's the report. And then you can go in at that point and make final edits to it from here. So you could go in and say, I'm going to go in. I want to look at this. I noticed this on the report. I'm going to go in, add a different caption to this. Boom. You could annotate there as well. All right, so that's a pretty high level overview of the system there. I don't want to just as a note, if anybody'd like a more detailed, granular look at this at our software system, our sales team demos all day long. So if you want to get a more personalized tour, you've got things you want to see, things that maybe apply just to your business you want to talk about. We love to do it.
Yeah, and Stephen, if you want to, I'm going to throw us back on the screen real quick if you want to turn your camera back on. But I did put Stephen's contact information in the comments. That's his email address. If you would like to reach out to schedule a more detailed demo like Ray described. Let's see here. Let me just do this here so we can finish off. So let me just drop a couple nuggets here, guys. From being able to build a scalable business, what this tool allows you to do is basically, and it sounds very simple, but I'm going to give you an example. A guest checks out and the toilet's clogged. Okay, you have another guest that's checking in in an hour, and so rather than that cleaner calling me and saying, "Hey, Rich, the toilet's clogged at East Hannah Street," they're going to immediately put that information on the app. My guest communication virtual assistants are going to have access to that same platform via the desktop. They're going to immediately know the plumber that we use for that particular property, and that plumber will then get access to the app as well. So within a few minutes, we have immediately the person that needs to address that issue either en route or on his way to go rectify that before the next guest shows up. And so that one example, if you multiply that across a lot of different properties on a daily, weekly basis, that's how you streamline and make your business scalable, and you kind of work less in it, and you have a lot of those tools in place to help delegate that. And so that's for those of you starting out with 1 or 2 properties, the importance of building this process with 1 or 2 properties with the thought process that you're going to be 20, 25, 30 properties later is the key to being able to scale a business without struggling along the way. And so, a platform like Property Inspect definitely, as you can see, kind of helps that efficiency and shows the priority where you need the priority to go when you have any issues with properties. So I just wanted to add that put it in context. This tool is without it, you're basically burning up a lot of time without having everybody able to access that information in one place and be able to get solutions immediately solved as quickly as possible.
And if you think about it as well, you're kind of blind on your property if you're not if you're not getting those images and those comments and having the ability to go back and reference as well to say this happened this time, this happened again this time, this happened again this time, as opposed to looking through emails, looking through texts, trying to figure out I knew that issue happened. Didn't that issue happen 3 months ago? Was it this property? Was it that property? You have the ability to easily through audit trails find these things.
Yeah. So real quick before we finish up, the elephant in the room is, what does this cost? If if I just got one property, I want to get started, or if I'm a 50 property user, what's the cost for this?
So the information is on our website, but we're as low as a solo user with up to 50 up to 100 properties is $49 a month, and then it rises more on the user side on that. So if you go to two users, it goes up to $97, and then it's SaaS based from there. So as you add users, basically it just kind of goes up in increments. But we consider it very affordable compared to our competitors.
Yeah, most definitely. So if I just have one property I want to get started, it's $49 a month.
Correct. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. That's awesome. So does anyone have any questions before we close up, other than what I've already kind of touched on? Like I mentioned, I've got Steven's email in the comments section. If you guys want to reach out, let him know that you're coming to him from B&B Investing Group, and he'll take care of scheduling some time to kind of do a deeper dive with you and, see how we can kind of have this help your business. All right. So I'm not seeing any questions. So listen, I really appreciate you guys taking the time today. This has been super informative. It's definitely a great product that you guys have. And the fact that Airbnb is using and has been using it goes a long way as well. We're all kind of following the same, singing off the same script, so to speak. And so it's definitely, helps to have that consistency. So thanks everybody for checking us out this week on B&B Investing. And We help investors want to scale a business, whether you're managing, owning properties, or leasing. If you want to kind of learn more about being able to grow and scale a business and you're ready to take action, feel free to reach out to me directly. We'll have a quick call and see if this is a good fit for you or not. So Ray, Stephen, again, I really appreciate your time today. And, everybody that's watching, we'll see you again next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Rich.
Thanks, Rich.
All right.
Thanks for jumping on the BNB Investing Podcast this week. Please click on the subscribe and like button below. For more trainings, property tours, and content, you can join my BNB Investing Facebook group by clicking below. If you are ready to grow your short-term rental portfolio and maximize your monthly income, you can click on the link below to schedule a quick strategy call with Rich or someone from his team to see how we can help or point you in the right direction. Stay tuned for our next episode and hope to see you on the BNB Investing Group podcast.